guys, my name is Aditya Trivedi and I am your Bade Bhaiya at Coding Adda. In this video, we will be talking about and we will be creating an AI agent. Okay, we will be creating an AI agent which will basically help us get the news for the latest day on tech. Okay, and in this video, we will be creating that agent right from scratch. We won't be using any other libraries apart from libraries like Grok UI. We'll be taking the API keys obviously from that, and we'll be creating an AI agent with you guys. And let's see what the AI agent is and how we can start with creating an AI agent. So let's first see what are AI agents. AI agents are refers to a system or a program that is capable of autonomously performing tasks on behalf of a user or another system by designing its workflow and utilizing the available tools. Meaning, it's basically reducing your workload as a developer, like the things that you are doing autonomously or by via yourself. It is basically reducing that work, and also it is basically a system or a program that is capable of autonomously performing tasks on behalf of as a user, which is you, or another system by designing its workflow. Okay, so this is what we will be creating today. Okay, so first we have an authentication system. We will be using Clerk for the authentication, wherein as a user you will just have to sign in or log in initially if you don't have an account. I have an account. I'll just sign in just with the help of Google, and it's like a seamless process. And here you can see I do have my history of the chats that I have been giving and chatting with the AI news assistant. So I'll say summarize today's AI news. Okay, and I'll just press enter. What it will do is basically give me the summary of today's AI news. Okay, the first news is breakthroughs in AI research. A student team of students in California, you can like read everything. AI in healthcare, AI in business, AI ethics. Okay, this is one thing. But if let's say you want to parse a URL and you want to see the contents of that URL. Let's say you are giving a URL and you want the summary of that particular URL. That's also what you can do. I'll just go to a URL. I'll just go to the Grok Clouds rate limiting. Okay, I'll just copy this and I'll just give it over here. So what it will do is it will basically parse that URL and give me a short summary of that article. Here you can see the rate limits are controls that regulate how often users and applications can access the API within specific time frames. Okay, so this is how you will be creating, not you can, you will be creating your own news assistant. For now, what we have done is we have given it the New York Times XML file on which it is being able to give us the news. You can also give different kind of URLs over there. So yeah, this is what we'll be creating, and I'm pretty excited to create this particular project with you guys. So yeah, let's get into the video and let's start coding the entire project. So this is how basically the workflow of our project will look like. So as a user, initially what the step one would be, like I'll just write here, the step one is fetch the data from the XML and display it. Okay, or we can say display the summary of top 3 articles. Okay, this would be the step one that we'll be doing. Like we'll be just fetching it from the XML file and then passing it, and then XML, here I'll write pass it to Grok, or here we can say the LLM, to get the summary. Okay, so I'll just remove this. So what we'll be doing is we will be passing it to the Grok to get the summary, and after that we will display the summary. Okay, we'll just display the summary. Okay, So let's go step by step on how we will start with this project. Okay. Hello. Okay. So first we'll go to the WAP. We'll just open any terminal and we'll just create a Next.js project. If you don't know what Next.js is basically a JavaScript framework which is created on top of React, which will help you create high quality web applications. Okay. So we'll just go there. I'll just go back and cd again. I think I have cd React, or ls I'll just see. Okay, not here. cd coding Adda. I'm not sure where do I have it. ls. Okay, what I'll do here is I'll write mkdir news assistant. I'll go inside that and I'll just open it in VS Code dot. Okay. So what we'll be doing here is initially we will be just creating a next JS application. So what we'll write is npx create -next -app @latest and /. So what it will do is it will basically create a Next.js application in this particular folder. Okay. You just have to wait until it creates the application, and till then I'll just help you walk through. Okay. After that I'll help you walk through. Yeah, we would be using TypeScript, ESLint, Tailwind CSS, src directory, yes, app router, yes, turbo pack, no, import alias, no. Okay, it's initializing. Till then I'll help you with what we will be using next. We will be also using Clerk. Clerk will be used for our authentication purpose, for the user authentication. It's one of the easiest way you can actually initialize a Clerk application in your project. We will be using the Grok Cloud for kind of interacting with the LLMs. It's basically an interface that can help the user and the LLM kind of connect with each other. Okay. And also we will be using something called Supabase. Supabase, it is kind of an open source MySQL database. It's kind of an Firebase alternative. For what we will be using? It's for storing the user history of the chat. Okay. Let's go. Let's start with the project and let's see where we will be starting with. So yeah, we will just initialize the application over here. And this is a next 15 application. Okay, it's a next 15 application, and this is how the file and folder structure looks like. Inside the app we have the page.tsx, layout.tsx. In this video I will also be moving forward with how TypeScript is being used here, because TypeScript is a kind of an additional layering which can help you on your projects and also help in basically the type safetying of the work. Okay, I think we are done with this. It's initialized. Okay, I'll clear and first here install some packages. I'll install Axios, I'll install Grok SDK, I'll install .env, and I'll install RSS parser. Okay, and I'll just remove this and write RAFCE. If you guys know what this is, please let me know in the comments. What is this RAFCE? Okay. Okay, this running, I'll just write npm install. Okay, sorry, I have installed already. Npm run def. Okay. It's running on localhost 3001. Okay, sir. What is this? Okay, this is not needed. I'll just open a new tab and I'll add it over here along with this one. Okay, I'll add where did it go? Localhost 3001. Okay, let's just see if everything till now is working. Yes, it's working perfectly fine. Now what we are gonna do is we will go and firstly create an API. Okay, how will we create an API in Next.js is something very different from what we usually do when we go for React projects. I'll just show you what we do here. Here in Next.js, we have something called app. Okay, we have src/app. Now, inside this, we will be creating a folder called API. Okay, And inside that, we will also be having another folder called news. Okay, I'll just mark it like this. Okay, and inside that, we will have something called route.txt. So this is basically how you create all your APIs for any Next.js application. The first thing is to create an API folder. Inside that, the place where you are writing it, like I'll be using the news name, and inside that route.ts. Okay, so inside the app, we will create an API folder. Inside that, we need news, and inside that, route.ts. Okay, API news route.ts. Okay, now what we are going to do here is something very easy, but before that, we will have to have some of the environment variables. So we'll just go to the Grok cloud. Okay, and inside the Grok cloud, firstly you have to go and log in yourself, go into the API keys and create a new API key. I'll create a new API key, AI news agent, AI I'll just add news agent YouTube. Okay, and by the way, you won't be able to use my API key. I'll be just removing this API key after the video is completed. So you just have to create an API key and copy the API key. Next step, go into the root folder and write .env.local. Okay, and next step is next underscore public underscore grok underscore API key. So, okay, so this is how you can create the API keys in Next.js. You just have to append something called next public, so it will directly get you the API keys from the env files. Okay, so this is one thing that we are taking for now. So the first thing that we'll be importing is Axios. Okay, import Axios from Axios. Okay, and we will create an async function and export async function get, and we'll have a try catch block. What we'll be doing here first is we will be having a data to be passed from a XML feed. So const feed is equal to await parser. Okay, we'll be taking parser from the RSS parser. Now what is RSS parser? I'll show you. RSS parser. So basically what this does is it can parse any XML string. Okay, mostly these kind of XML strings are formed for many applications. Like if you are a creator, you also have a YouTube RSS XML file which will give you all the data for your particular YouTube video or a particular playlist, and also for many audio tracks, like there are podcasts. So these podcasts also have an RSS XML file which gives you the data. Okay, so we have imported parser, but before that we will also create a new object for parser. We'll write const parser equal to new parser. Okay, and one more thing, const grok API key equal to process.env.next underscore public underscore grok API key. Okay, and also we have to just initialize the grok object. We'll just initialize it, const grok equal to new grok. We will be importing it from grok SDK, and inside that, under an object, we will be just passing the API key as grok API key. Okay, this is the first step that we do. Is now we'll be just creating a function to fetch latest news from an RSS feed. Okay, so const feed equal to await, will be just passing the parser dot. Now here we are parsing the URL, and we will be just passing the URL https rss.newyorktimes.com/services/xml/rss/nyt/technology.xml. Okay, if you want to go over this URL and see what it is, you can obviously go and see. Inside this, we have the entire thing. Okay. Here we are getting the RSS feed from the New York Times. Okay. So this is the first step that we did. We just have the feed over here. Now the next step is we just need, as I said, we have to get the top three, pass it to the Grok LLM and get the top three results. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just get the top three. Const articles equal to feed dot items dot slice 0, 3. So what it will do is it will give us the top three results. Now we are getting these values in an XML file. Okay, we are just passing it. Now what we want, we have to map all the values and just give it in the front end. Okay, so what we will be doing is we will be creating a variable const summaries equal to await promise dot all, and we have the articles. We have to map those articles dot map, and we'll be having an async value, async article, and what we want is a prompt to be given so that we can get the summarized value. Here you can see there are things written over here like going case by case, regulators have already investigations and all those things. We just need a summarized value of those articles. So what we will do is we will instantiate a prompt. I'll write a prompt equal to backticks, because we will be passing the title and the description and the content over here. I'll just write summarize this article in 3 bullet points, and we'll just put a backslash and to give it in a new line. We want the title, we'll pass as article dot title, because see, here you will be getting the title, right? This is the title that we get. I'll just zoom in. See, this is the title that we'll get. Okay, we'll be passing the title and we will be passing the content snippet, and content equal content colon article dot content snippet. Where is this content snippet? I'll just copy. Okay, we'll have to pass the content snippet. Okay, now the next step is, after creating the prompt, we will call the Grok Cloud API. Okay, and this is, guys, very easy. It's not at all complicated. We'll just go through the Grok documentation first. I'll just increase the screen and we'll go to the documentation, and here we will be doing a text completion. Okay, so if we go to the API reference, okay, we go to the API reference and we have a chat completion. Okay, and here we'll be using JavaScript. So this is what we will be doing right now. We have something inside grok.chat.completions.create, and here we have two things. One is the message from the user, one is the role of the user and what user is giving, and one will be the role of the system, what system will be giving as a response. Okay, so I'll just increase this. Okay, and we'll just write const response equal to await grok dot chat dot completions dot create, and here we will be passing firstly the messages. It will be an array of messages. Okay, what would be the first one? First one would be the role, and here we have 5 roles: assistant, function, system, tool, and user. Okay, so we'll be choosing the user role, and the content that we'll be passing will be just the prompt. Okay, for now we'll be just passing the user, and the model that we'll be using here will be llama 3 8 billion parameters. Okay, and we'll just pass the temperature as 0.7. Okay, so what is temperature? because here we have what sampling temperature to use. Higher value as 0.8 will make the output more random, while lower values will make it more focused and deterministic. So let's say we will not put it as 0.7, we'll write 0.2. Okay, sorry for not 0.7. So here we will have a promise. After this is done, then we'll add a chat completion, which will return us chat completion dot choices at the 0th index dot message dot content. If it has the content, it will return us this, or just return us an empty string. Okay. After this, we just want to return the title, which will be the article dot title. We want the link of the article dot link, and next we want the summary, which will just be the response that we are getting. Okay, and we want to return that as a next response in a JSON format, the summaries. Okay, so this is in the try block. In the catch block, we'll just, if we don't have anything, we'll just console the error, console dot error fetching news, and we'll be passing the error over here. And also we will be returning a next response, obviously in a JSON format, where we have the first parameter as error, failed to fetch news, and the status as 500. Internal server error will be passing. Okay, so this is the API that we have created. Okay, so in the API that we create, let's just revise it. What we will be doing, firstly we are fetching the articles from the rss.xml file, then we are getting the top 3, and then we are passing the values of these XML files, the contents inside this XML file, into a prompt. Okay, we are mapping it, we are then passing it into a prompt, and then we are giving it to the Llama 8 billion parameters LLM model to give the summary of this articles. Okay, and just we are just returning the title, link, and summary. Okay, this is how the basic API is created. Okay, now we just have to display it in the front end. So what we will be doing here is we will be just going into the page.tsx. Okay, and we will have the name as news list. Okay, because this is a list of news list, or I'll do one thing, I'll just create an export default function news list. Okay, where we'll have a use effect obviously in the start, which will basically fetch the data from the API whenever the page is loaded. So async function fetch news const res equal to await. We'll be using the fetch function, not fetch news, fetch function. And what will be the URL? /API/news. It's as simple as that. See, the URL is what? /API/news. So whenever we will be adding the chat functionality, the API would be /API/chat. Okay, /news, and const data equal to await res.json. Okay, and just we will console log the data dot summaries. Okay, and we will be calling the fetch news function over here. Okay, let's see what we have right here. Okay, since we are using the use effect, we'll have to add the use client at the top of the file. No worries, sir, we will be adding use client in quotes. Okay, Let's see what we have in the console. I'll just put this at the right console. See, we are getting the title, link, and the summary from the XML file. Okay, so here we have the title: under Trump, US dismantles crypto crackdown. We have under Trump, US dismantles crypto crackdown. Okay, so this is what we are getting in the console. Now the next step is directly just to display it on the front end. So for that we'll be having some states. We'll have const news set news equal to use state. Okay, and it will be in the format of an array. But this is where TypeScript comes into picture. Is whenever we are displaying anything, we have to define the type. Okay, so for that we have to create an interface, because we as a developer know here that we want the link, summary, and title to be displayed, but the machine does not know what is to be displayed. So we have to just tell it over here that this is the things that I will be passing. So for that we will be creating an interface news item. Okay, and we will be just be telling what is the thing that will be displaying. Obviously it is the title and the format. Title as a string, the link as a string, and the summary as a string. Okay, so we have initialized the use state as an array, and here we will be passing the use state will be of the type news item, and the news item would be an array. So this is how we basically instantiate any state whenever we are using TypeScript. Okay, and the next would be a loading state, loading and set loading equal to use state, and it will be initially true. Okay, so in the use effect also we'll be adding something. We'll be setting the news, set news as data dot summaries, and just comment this, and I think it's okay to remove it, and set loading as false. Okay, set loading as false. Now I think it is the best step for all the developers here, because it's one of the best step after fetching the data to display it on the front end, and we always do it with the help of map function. We'll write return inside a div. We'll have this main div, and I'll do this right here. Okay, I think now it will be much more fun to see how it works. We'll have a padding as not 56, we have a padding as 6, and h2 we will have here as a magni or zoom. Okay, we'll have the magnifying glass over here, and we'll write AI news summaries. Okay, AI news summary, and we will give it as a class name as text of 2XL, font bold, and margin bottom as 4. Okay, now if the data or if the state of loading is there, if the data is still loading, we'll display as loading. Okay, or we will map the data. News dot map will be passing the article and the index. Just don't see over there, it will be giving the errors, but you just have to focus over here. Map article and index, and here we will have a div with the key as index. Okay, and inside that we will be having an article. Okay, the link will be, I'll remove this first. I'll just pass the article over here and write p article dot summary. Okay, for now we'll just display the summary. Okay, we are getting this. Okay, one step is done. Now let's add some styles to it. Padding as p of 4, border rounded LG, and margin bottom as 4. Okay, this is becoming a very black. I'll just add or I just remove this global CSS. This is not needed as of now, so that it becomes light. Yeah, or this one, better. We'll be styling, don't worry guys. We have added the key as an index, and here we'll add an href so that when we click on any of the news summary, it will link and get us to that link. So ahref will be simple article dot link. Okay, and target would be obviously underscore blank. I want it to be displayed on a new page. And let's have a class name, and this will have the article dot title. Okay, we will also have the title. Okay, and we'll just add some classes over here. I'll just put it down so that it looks much better than what we have. Okay, the class name would be text of LG, font as semi bold, and text of blue of something 600. Okay, so yeah, here we have the values, and also we'll add the class name to the summary. Also class name MT2 and text gray 700. Okay, yeah, I think it looks much better right now. Okay, so here we have the values, or we have the data from this XML file and a summary of it. So if we click on this, we get the data. It's like you just have to confirm whether you are a human or not. Okay, I have confirmed. See, we have the entire news or article. Okay, so yeah, this is the first step that we did. What we did is we have fetched the data, we have given it to the Grok cloud, and we have given the summaries. Okay, now the one thing here is this is not a good practice when it comes to writing scalable applications or creating good applications wherein you are writing everything in a page.tsx. No worries, we will just refactor it. What we'll do, we will create a folder inside the app directory called components. Okay, and we will add a component called news list.tsx. Okay, okay, and what we'll do, we'll just copy the entire thing and paste it over here. Okay, and here we'll add the RAFCE. Okay, so what we'll be doing here is we have the page, right? We'll convert it, the div, into a main class name max width 3xl mx auto and mt10, and we'll just pass or add the news list component over here. Okay, see, the entire thing is visible right now. Okay, so like it looks better, and the page.tsx is the cleanest as we want, and it is told and it is preferred that the page.tsx should be as clean as possible. And we'll also add an h1 like AI news assistant. We'll remove the earlier one, text 3xl, font bold, and text center. Okay, and we will remove this one that we have. Okay, so this is how our app looks till now. Okay, so this is the first step that we did. Okay, the next step is to add a chat feature. Okay, so let's get into how the chat feature would work. Okay, so the step 1 was fetch data, and step 2, add chat feature to get news based on human input. Okay, so what we'll be doing here is, obviously we will have this feature as well, and we will be doing here is take the input, not in out, take the input from the user, and then again pass to LLM. Okay, and display output. Okay, that's it. Okay, this is how basically, or on a very fundamental level, or we can say on a very superficial level, this is how it will be working. We'll be taking the input, passing it to the LLM, and displaying the output. Okay, I think we are ready to go. Let's start. Okay, what we'll be doing here is firstly we will be installing a package called Lucid React. npm install Lucid React. It will basically give us the icons, because I am someone who likes kind of icons in every project that I create. Okay, now let's focus on creating the APIs now. Okay, the first API was inside the news, and what did I say? For creating the API for the chat, we will be creating a folder for chat /chat/route.ps. Okay, now some things from the news we will be taking, such as this entire thing, because this is what we'll be using it again over here. Okay, I think it is taking some time. Okay, we got it. And here we will create a function to chat. Okay, we'll create export async function, and this function will be a post function, because based on the user input it will be giving us the response post, and here we'll be passing the user value. So we'll add a request, and here we'll have to define what the request would be. It would be a type request. Okay, obviously a try catch block over here. Now the first step is to get the message, const message equal to await request.json. This will basically get us the message what user is typing over here, and we'll have let articles equal to an array, but here we will have to define the article type. It will be a type any. Okay, so this is what we do right now. Now I'll just put it over here, and yeah, now we'll have a condition. If the user asks for latest news, we have to fetch it. Okay, so we'll add if user asks for latest news, fetch it. So if message dot to lowercase dot includes latest news. Okay, so if we write anything like give me the latest news for AI, so what it will do is it will just convert into the lowercase, and it will see if the entire message consists of these two strings, latest news. Then we'll add the values, or we'll fetch the data. So we'll just add the entire thing over here. Okay, and we will put the articles over here. Okay, the next step, construct the prompt, construct AI prompt. Okay, so the first thing is let prompt equal to backticks user. What user? It would be the message that user is passing, and slash and AI. Now we want the AI to give us the response. So next, if the length of articles is greater than 0, prompt plus equal to, meaning we will just append the values, or append the prompt, or update the prompt. Here are the top news articles, and give it in the next line, plus articles dot map A and I will be the index, and give me or return me the title and the link. So dollar first would be the index I plus 1, okay, space dollar a dot title, okay, and dollar a dot link, and we want to join it with a backslash n. Okay, meaning what this particular piece of code is doing is, if the length of articles is more than 0, if we are getting more articles, then it will give us the here are the top news articles, and it will just give us the title, the index, and it will just join it via backslash n, giving all the values one line by line. Okay, so next is call grok cloud API const response equal to, wait a second, what I'll do is I'll just copy this again. Okay, and I'll just paste it over here. grok.chat.completions.create, and the temperature is 0.2. Okay, but here what we'll be doing, we will not be passing this values. We just want to return things. Okay, we'll write return next response dot JSON, and this will consist of the reply, what the AI is giving to us. The reply will be the response dot choices index 0 dot message dot content. Okay, and in the error, the same thing, copy and paste it. There's no need to write everything again. In the error, the catch values, we'll just pass it over here. Okay, so this is how the backend API would work. It would just give us the latest news. Okay, now it's the time to create the front end component. So what we'll do, we will write chat.tsxrfce. Okay, and what I'll do here is I'll just comment this and add the chat component over here and do this. Okay, I think we are good to go. It will take some time to load. Yeah, we have the chat. Okay, I think we are ready. Let's go. Let's kill it. Let's kill now. So now the first step is obviously to set the states. So const messages set messages equal to use state. Okay, here what we'll be having, obviously it will be in array format, but inside the state what we'll be having is the role in the form of a string, because here we'll be having two roles. First will be a user role, and the second would be the AI role or the bot role, and the content, which will also be a type of string. And okay, use client. Okay, sorry, we will be using client. Okay, and this will be in the form of an array, and the next would be an input and set input. This is what the user will be giving as an input, and the state will be a string value. Okay, so let's just start with creating the interface. Okay, first we have h2. I'll write AI chat. Okay, class name as text to Excel, font bold, MB4. Okay, and it will be inside the div of p of 6 max WLG mx auto, not max auto, mx auto. Okay, after that we'll have another div wherein we will be just mapping the messages. Okay, and I think this is the most important part, messages dot map, where we have the message and the index. Okay, and inside that we will be having a div, and here we have to conditionally render the UI based on the role of whether it is a user or whether it is an AI. Okay, so obviously we'll be first passing the key as the index. Okay, and here since we'll be using the ternary operators, we'll be using a backticks. and that backticks will be in the curly braces. Okay, obviously the first thing, there are some things that would be common, like the margin bottom to be 2, the padding to be 2, the rounded it should be medium level. Okay, now we'll add the role of user. If the message dot role is triple equal to the user, okay, if it is, we want the bg to be bg blue 500, okay, and the text to be white, or else we want the bg to be gray 200. Okay, this is how we conditionally render the UI based on the rule. If the message dot role is triple equal to user, then the bg to be blue and the text to be white, or else it would be bg gray 200, meaning the UI for the user would be blue and for the AI it would be gray. Okay, and now inside that what we will be rendering is, we'll have a strong tag and we'll write message dot role if triple equal to user. Okay, then we'll write this is u, or we'll add the bot icon. Bot icon will be the icon which will be the AI icon. Okay, and we'll be just ending it over here, and we'll be adding what? We'll be adding the message content, msg dot content. Okay, we'll add after this. Okay, we have added the message dot content. Okay, messages dot map message index. We have the div I key, not I key, we have the div index mb2 p2 rounded mb, and we have conditionally rendered it. Okay, so now what we'll be doing is obviously adding some UI changes over here. hs80, we want overflow by auto, p4 border rounded lg bg gray 50. Okay, we got a box. Okay, what is the error? Map does not exist on type role string and content string. Okay, okay, we'll look into it. Okay, no worries, we'll look into it. First we'll just look into the UI aspect right now. Right, as of now we have the div completed. Okay, and after this we will add another div flex and mt4, where we'll be having the input box. Okay, the input, and the type is text. Obviously the class name would be flex of -1, p2 border and rounded lg. Okay, and we'll have a placeholder as ask me about latest tech news. Okay, and the value will be the input, and on change we'll set the input as e.target.value. Okay, and after that we'll add a button. We'll just close this, we'll add a button, send, and the class name of the button would be bg blue. Where did it go? bg blue 500, text white, px4 py2 rounded rlg. Okay, and on clicking, obviously on click we have to make an API call. So we'll write on click send message, not message, message. Okay, now let's create the function which will do the entire working and make the API call. Okay, so we'll have the function over here, and one more thing, here we have as an array. Okay, So const send message is equal to an async function. Okay, I'll just maximize this. Send message would be an async function. Initially, it will check if there is an input. If no input dot trim return. Okay, now we'll add user message to the chat. Const new messages equal to, we have to add the earlier messages as well, hence use the triple dot operator, and the role would be the user, content would be the input that the user has passed, and we'll set the messages as the new messages that the user have been passing and the input as empty string. After we add the user message to the chat, we'll write call the backend API. Now is the time to call the API. Const res equal to await axios dot post. Obviously, it will be the post request slash API slash chat. How come slash API slash chat? So it will do an API call to the route dot ts that we have created. And what will be passing as the message? The input what user has given. And const data equal to res. Next is to set the messages. We'll add the earlier message as it is, and now will be the role of AI. And the content that it will give, it would be the data dot reply. Okay. Let's see what our chat does. I'll ask here, tell me about today's latest news. Send. See, this is what we are getting from the latest news. But there is some difference as we see, because the earlier one or the one that I told you here, it is a very different format. So there is no such big issue here. Don't worry, we will be working on that as well. So what we'll be doing here is now adding a React Markdown parser, which will basically parse the Markdown format data that we are getting over here. Okay. So what we'll be doing here is install package called npm install react markdown. Okay. And we'll be doing one more thing. Now we'll be adding the functionality wherein we are passing the URL and it gives us the data or the summary of that particular URL. So for that, we have a package called JSDOM. Until it is getting downloaded, let's see what is JSDOM. I'll write JSDOM npm. So it is basically a pure JavaScript implementation of many web standards, notably bot, WG, DOM, and HTML standards for use with Node.js. In general, the goal of this project is to emulate enough of a subset of a web browser to be useful for testing and scraping real-world applications. So it is basically used for web scraping. Okay. Are we ready, guys? If you are ready, please let me know in the comment section that yeah, we are ready till now, and let's kill it more. Okay. I'm really pumped up for this particular project because this is one such crazy project that personally helps me as well and personally will help you guys as well. Okay. So we'll go into the route here and we'll just import the JS DOM. Import JS DOM from JS DOM. Okay. We have imported. Now, inside this post function, what we'll be doing, if we will be first checking if the message contains a URL. So we'll write check if message contains a URL. Okay. And for this, what we'll be using is regex expression. Regex. To check. Now, this is very important, guys. You have to keep this in mind and concentrate on this part. That we want that the website should start with, the URL should start with HTTPS. Then it should have a double slash. Okay. And then it should have some values, okay, and this is how it should end. /g is ending, and const URL match equal to message dot match what URL regex. So what it will do is basically the URL that we get over here, it will first pass it to this regex expression, and then it will match it. Like, yeah, if the URL is matching the regex expression that we have passed. So if the URL matches, if it is true, we will just get the article URL as the first value of the URL match. Okay. Now we'll just fetch the article content. Const article response res equal to await fetch article URL. Const article text equal to await article res dot text. Okay, we fetched the content. Now what we'll do is we'll extract meaningful text using JS DOM. So const DOM equal to new JS DOM, and we'll pass the article text, and const document equal to DOM dot window dot document. Okay, so what it will do is it will basically extract the meaningful document or meaningful text using the JS DOM. Meaning, not meaningful, meaningful. Okay, so after we extract the meaningful articles or meaningful text, what we do is extract visible text from all para. So const paragraphs equal to array dot from document dot query selector all, and we'll just want the p tag values. Okay, so this basically differs from website to website, but since we'll be just using for our testing purpose and for the websites where the articles are not very huge, we'll be just getting all the values from the p tag, and usually they are from the p tags. So we'll write the article content equal to paragraphs dot map. Now map meaning all the values that we are getting, all the p tags that we are getting from the document which are stored in an array, we will just map it with a p and an I. P and I meaning p and index, or will not get the index. P and p dot text content will trim for any spaces over there and unwanted values, and will filter. Okay, will filter the text. Okay, and return the text and join with a space. Okay, now after we get the article, we will check if there is any article content, or if article content dot length is less than 50. Okay, if there is article, not if there is no article content, or if the article content, the length of article content is less than 50, return next response dot JSON and give us a reply. I couldn't what will write extract meaningful content from this URL, and we'll write try again later. Okay, this is what we will write. If we are not able to extract, we'll tell like please try again later. Okay, now next thing, after we get the value, we just have to summarize using grok. So const summary response equal to await grok dot chat dot completions dot create the messages in an array, but here we will also add the system message because it is kind of a chat. So the first role would be of a system, what is the content inside it? We'll just pass the prompt, summarize the given article in a short and clear way. Okay. And next would be the role of a user and the content as the article content that we are passing. And what is the model we'll be using? We'll be using Llama 70 billion here. Let's use Llama 70 billion over here. Now, const summary data will be await summary response and will return a next response, which will be in a JSON format, where the reply would be summary data dot choices 0 dot message dot not function call content. Okay, if we get the data, then okay, then or else we'll write could not CPU couldn't or could not summarize this article. Okay, we will write it as this. Okay, now I think there is some issue that we are facing over here. It is asking us what is the type of P. There is no type of P that we are giving it here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just ask Copilot to fix it. Like, what is the error? And please, Copilot sir, please fix it. We'll accept it. Is there any other error? Okay, we'll have to install the types also. Okay, no sir, no worries. CLS. Okay, we have installed that as well. Now, inside the chat component, we will update things. Okay, there are things to be updated. I mean, the UI is to be updated now. We have the send message. Okay, we will add a use effect over here. Use effect to just give us the values in the center, and we'll add a ref const messages and ref equal to use ref, where we'll add the HTML div element or null value and initialize it null. In the use effect, what we'll write messages and ref dot current, and we'll just always what we'll do is we will always scroll into the view of the window, and we want the behavior to be smooth, and we want it to be called every time the messages have been updated. Okay, now here inside the send message we will be updating some things like /API/chat, and also what we'll be doing here is we'll set messages as the new messages and the role also of AI and the content as res.data.reply. Okay, we'll just remove this. Okay, I think we are clear till now. Okay, there are some things that we will have to change in the UI as well. Okay, what we'll do here is now divide the things. Okay, we will add not a P6, we will add the HH screen, because what we are trying to do here is now get the UI as the other LLM platforms that we have, like just like ChatGPT and all those other platforms. So we'll have H screen, W screen, or WC4, W screen, flex call, BG gray 900, and text as white. Okay, inside that we'll have a header. Okay, we'll have a div as P4 text center, and then we have the bottom border gray 700, Okay, and what we'll do, AI chat inside this h2 mb4, and we'll just remove the mb4 over here. Okay, it's in progress. It's not complete yet, but it's in progress. Let's go. After the header, we have the chat messages. Okay, so we will remove this and we'll write flex of 1 overflow by auto px4 p by 6 and space by 4. Okay, we have this, and inside that what we are doing is we are just mapping over the things. Okay, so what we'll do is, if the role is of user, we want the text to be on the right hand side, and if the role is of the AI, we want the text to be on the left hand side. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll just put it over here. Okay, now remove this. We have the flex item start, gap of we'll add as 3 and width as full, not width fit, full. Now if the message or the role of the is user, what we'll add justify end, meaning we want it at the right side, and we'll just remove this. Okay, or we want it as justify start. Okay, there is some issue, I guess, with the message. Okay, justify start. Okay, now here we'll do the changes. Okay, there are a lot of changes like we'll be doing here and there. Now if the message of AI is given, we'll add the bot icon along with a class name of width of 5, height of 5, text gray of 400. Okay, and now what we want is we will be also parsing the values, parsing the response that we are getting from the AI. So I'll just remove this entire thing, and after this I'll just add a div, and I'll just add parsing value with react markdown. Okay, I'll just add a space right here. Okay, so if the message is from AI, then I want to parse it via react markdown, and what I want to pass is the message dot content. I'll just import react markdown over here. I'll import react markdown from react markdown. Okay, so what it will do is it will basically parse it. Okay, or else in the span, the message content, this will be the content that the user would be passing. Okay, and at the end also we will also add a div, which will be a self-closing div along with the ref as messages and ref. Okay, we did this. Now we just have to add those UI changes. P3 rounded, LG max width of 75%. Okay, see now see the UI looks pretty good, max width of 75%, and now this is not needed. We'll have backticks again, class name P3 and this over here. Okay, now if the message role is user, bg blue 500, and text white, or else BG, we have the BG gray 800 and text of, let's say we'll add 200. Okay. Now we want, see, this is how we are getting the UIs. Don't worry, we will fix that UI as well over here. Now in the input box, we'll have the input box. We'll add the padding as 4, border T, border gray 700, BG gray 800. We want the input box to be fixed, bottom 0, W full, and flex. Okay. One more div, which will be now after this button, and width of full, max width 4XL, MX auto, flex, item center, gap of 2. Okay, and also some changes are needed to be in the class name as well. Flex 1, sorry, P of 3. We have BG gray as 700 and text of white. We have the rounded LG now. We don't want the border, we want the outline to be none and width as full. Okay, and we'll change this as well. Ask me about latest tech news. Enter any URL to get its news. Okay, and let's say we add one more thing, like when we click on enter, we want the data to be given. So I will write on key down E, where the E dot key, if it is equal to enter, then send message. Okay, now also we will change by some UI aspect of the button as well. BG blue, instead of 500 we'll add 600, and PX4 PY2 we have a rounded, not R, we will add rounded LG, flex, and ITC, item center. On click, send message, and instead of send we'll add a send icon as well. Send class name, not calc mode, class name as W4, H4, and MR1. Okay, so now in the page.tsx we'll remove this because that was the one that was giving us the value, and add a chat over here. Okay, let's see how our UI looks right now. Where did it go? Yeah, I think this UI looks much better than what we had earlier. So what we'll do, I'll just add, this one is a big one. What I'll do, I'll go to settings, I'll go to, let's say, pricing page, this page. I want to get to this page. Okay, I'll just pass this page and let's see what it is giving us as a response. Okay, let's wait. Okay, this article discusses the pricing model of a Grok and AI platform. Here's a brief summary. Okay, this is what we get one. Now let's say we want to get the summary of today's semiconductor news. I'll give me the summary of today's semiconductor news. Okay, so here is a summary of today's semiconductor news. So these are the summary that we are getting, and also it is in a more updated form than what we have had earlier, because here we are just also passing the markdown data using React Markdown, and every time the React or the AI gives us a response, we are adding a bot icon over here. Okay, so this is also done. The next step is to have a user authentication, wherein each user will have their own data or own chat along with the chat history. So what we will be doing here, is they will be installing two dependencies. Okay, one is something called clerk. Okay, we'll go to clerk, and the next we have is not dupa base, supa base. Okay, so we'll go to clerk. Okay, we already have a dashboard over here. What I'll do is here we'll write npm install @clerk /next.js and @supabase /supabase.js. Okay. Personally, I've been using Supabase a lot, and I think it is one of the best Postgres databases that you can also use right now. Okay. So the next step is to have an authentication right here. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll just remove this, and just reduce this. Or okay. Now, when you are installing clerk, there are some things that you need to get from the clerk. Is something around the keys, the URLs. What I'll be doing, I'll be using, or I'll just create a new one. I'll just go to this and create an application, new news assistant YouTube. I want to just continue with Google. I'll create an application. Along with that, side by side, I'll go to Supabase. I'll go to a dashboard. I'll create a new project. Yes, my organization, and project name would be News Assistant YouTube. I'll also add a password, and I'll choose the region as South Asia, Mumbai. Okay, here. Okay, we got the project created in Clerk. So what we'll do is we'll just get the API keys, copy this, and go into your env.local, and just just a second, and paste it. Okay, and just I'll next public clerk secret key. Okay, this is done. Now there is only a single step that we need to do to instantiate or initialize clerk in our application. It's one, hence I like clerk using the most, because it's only one thing that we have to add here. We have to add the clerk provider in the return statement. Clerk provider, and we'll just add the entire thing inside the clerk provider. Okay, this is also done. This is how we are instantiating clerk. Okay, so let's move with clerk right now. What we'll do is add the authentication part, wherein the user is able to authenticate using clerk. Okay, so clerk has some inbuilt hooks, okay, which will basically help you get the sign off button and sign out button, and it will automatically take care of the handling of the entire thing. I've also created a video on using clerk authentication for your project. You can also start with it. Okay, so for now, let's not go initially with clerk. Let's also set up the Supabase side by side. Okay, so we have the Supabase key. That is also something that we need to save in the env. So I'll write next public Supabase key equal to this, and we have the next Supabase URL as well. So I'll write next public Supabase URL equal to this one. Okay, this is how we create the Supabase URL, and inside the database as well, we will have to create a table. Okay, we'll have to create a table which will consist of some values, and this table will store the values of the user. Okay, so let's go into the earlier one that I had. I'll go to the dashboard, I'll go to the user assistant, and I'll go to the table editor. Okay, I just need to get what the table values are. I need ID, user ID, role. Okay, I'll go with this. I need what's the name of the table? Messages. This will store user messages. Okay, I need the ID, which will be a unique ID. I need the user ID, which will be a text. Okay, we need the role, which will also be a text. Okay, next we have the content and as text and created as timestamp. Okay, we had the content as text, and we'll also have the last one as created at as timestamp. Okay, and we'll just save it. We'll add the 5 columns to the messages. Let's wait. Yeah. After that, we have to create some policies. We have to create some RSL policies. It's good if you create a policy, but it's not at all compulsory, because if you create a policy for your own project, if you are creating a project for your own, then that RLS policy will help your data to be with you only. Okay, it won't be given to any public. But if you don't have RLS policy, it's not a big issue. It can be good for like when you are creating your own project. Okay, so let's start now going forward with the project. Okay, where did it go? I have this. Okay, now we have some hooks. As I said, we'll have a hook called const user and is signed in from use user, which will be called from clerk. Okay, next we have the input, and we'll have const show sign up set show sign up as use state, which will be a false value initially. Okay, now what we want is we want to fetch the messages when the user logs in. So I'll write fetch message when user logs in. Okay, so use effect, I'll write if there is a user who is logging in, then fetch messages please. This will be a function that we will be creating, don't worry, and it will be always called when the user is updated or the state of the user is updated. Okay, next, if there is no user, please give a alert as please sign into chat. It's like until and unless you don't sign in, you can't chat, and then return. Okay, now we'll add a condition over here. Okay, the condition would be if the user is there. Okay, if there is a user signed in, then only we want the things to be visible. Okay, so what we will do here is inside here we will add if is signed in. If the user is not signed in, then text center will add a div and will show a sign up. Sign up. See, this is the sign up that we are getting from the clerk only. Or else give the sign in. And here we have to pass routing as hash. Routing as hash. Okay. And after that, we'll add a small button to tell or to kind of ask that if the show sign up is already there, then we show already have an account, sign in, or else create and account. Okay, and the class name would be mt4 text blue 500 and underline. Okay, and when we click on click, we just have to set show sign up as don't show sign up. Okay, okay, when we have now we have the button, and if the user is signed in, we have to pass the entire thing into the box. Okay, if the user is signed in, we have the chat messages. Okay, and before that we'll also add a user sign button, like where the user is signed in to display, like, yeah, this is the user that is signed in. So we'll add h1 and we'll write welcome user dot full name. Okay, and the class name as text to excel font bold, and the div as text center flex justify between px4 and pys2, and inside that we'll just display the user button, and we'll write after sign out URL, give it or pass it to the home root or root directory. Okay, we have the user button. Okay, after that we'll add the chat messages. Okay, we have the chat messages. Okay, this is done, and after that we will also have the input box. Okay, I think there is some error. Let me just figure out where the error lies. Okay, I'm passing the header at the bottom. It should be at the top, right? Header should be at the top. Okay, there is an error that is pasting. Where is it? Yeah, the error comes out to be this one, to fetch the messages. Okay, no worries, we'll work on that now. Okay, now let's fetch the messages. We'll add a function to fetch user specific messages from Supabase. Const fetch messages is equal to async. Okay, now const will be obviously having a data, and in case you don't have the data, we'll have an error. These are the only two things that we have. We'll write up is equal to await Supabase. Okay, guys, there is one more thing that is left to be done. We have to instantiate Supabase as well. Okay, there is one more thing to be done. So what we'll do here, inside app, okay, I'll just close this. Inside app, we will have a folder called lib, and inside that we will have a library, or not a library, we will add a file called supabase.ts, wherein we will initialize the Supabase application. We'll have a create client in Supabase, and const Supabase URL is equal to process.env dot go to the env file, copy this and paste it, and we'll have Supabase key as copy this and just copy this, bro. Copy this and paste this. And these both are important. Okay, we took the keys. Now we'll just add and export const Supabase equal to create client, passing the Supabase URL and the Supabase key. Also for the auth, we will have to persist the session as false, auto refresh token as true, and detect session and URL as false. Okay, so this is how we are initializing a Supabase for our application, our project. Okay, so after we do that, the next step is to go into the fetch messages so that our application would work. So we'll just import Supabase, and from we'll have from. Okay, now to anyone of you who knows how SQL works, it's just like writing SQL values or SQL queries, but in JavaScript form. So from where? From the table that you have created. What do you want to do? You have to select what to select, everything which equals what? It equals user ID, and here we have user.id. This ID, particular ID, this is created by clerk. Okay, and what should be the order? Dot order, it should be the order when it is created, order created at, and we want it in ascending order, so we write ascending equal to true. Okay, now if there is any error, just write console.error, error fetching messages and error. Okay, else we have to set the messages data.map. All the messages we have to set the message where the id is equal to message.id, role equal to message.role, and content equal to message.content. Okay, okay, so this is how the fetch message function is. This is how the fetch messages function would work. Okay, we'll also have to update the send message function as well. Okay, because now we will be storing the data in the database. So we have the const new messages. We'll have to update this thing. What we'll have here is, first we'll have an ID which will be created. So crypto is basically a module that will help us to create a random ID. So random UUID. Next would be the role of a user. Then the content, which is the input, and the user underscore ID as the user.id. Okay, and we'll set the previous message as pref, and also update the new messages that we are getting. After setting the input as empty string, we will just save it. Await supabase.from messages dot insert. What to insert? We'll insert the new messages. Okay, now the next task is to call the backend API. So what we'll do is, let's do one thing. We'll just add it in a try catch block. Const s is equal to await axios.post const AI message equal to ID. What it would be? Crypto dot random UUID, role of AI, content as res.data.reply, and user underscore ID as user.id. Okay, and we'll also set messages pref pref as dot. We'll have the pref and AI message. Also now await supabase, what's up, supabase dot from messages dot insert AI message. We also need to insert the AI message. Okay, and in the error, what we have is console dot error fetching response. We'll have now the um, we'll have the error. Okay, are we good now? Yes or no, guys? Please let me know in the comments. You can pause the video and let me know in the comments if you are good to go right now. Okay, and we'll just remove this. This is not needed. And what are we getting here? User is possibly null or undefined. Yeah, because the user is null or undefined because there is no user in the database. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll try to go where is the application here? Yeah, no, this is the one that we already have. This one. Please sign into chat. Okay, got it. I guess it will cause the hydration issue. Yeah, okay, no worries. Okay, so before fetching the messages, now what we want is to get the real-time updates from the user. Okay, so what we're going to do is to get the real-time supervised updates as in the things that will be giving us the history, this feature, this particular feature. Okay, once we do that, we'll be good to go to test the entire application and see how it works. Okay, so we'll have another use effect. Why am I commenting it? Real time updates from Supabase use effect. If there is no user, obviously return. Now we have something called const subscription equal to. What we are going to do here is we have to give the real-time updates to the user. Okay, so we'll write supabase dot channel. Channel is the name of the table that we are creating. Messages is the name of the table. Dot on. Whenever there is a Postgres change, it creates an event handler that listens to changes. Whenever there is a Postgres change, you have to have an insert event. Okay, insert. What should be the schema? It should be the public schema and the table to be messages. Okay, and the payload that will be passing here would be to set the messages as a previous const exist equal to if previous messages has some message msg, compare it the message of id as payload dot new dot id. Okay, it is basically comparing if the current message that we are trying to save is already existing in the database with the help of an id. So if it does not exist, return an array with the previous value and the id as payload dot new dot id, the role as payload dot new dot role, and the content as payload dot new dot content. Okay, and return pref to us, and also add dot subscribe. Okay, it's like whenever there is a change, it will just trigger this. Return a function and supabase dot remove channel subscription. Whenever this is done, you just have to remove it, and I want it to be called whenever there is a change in the user. Okay. Let's see where is the error that we are getting. Message dot id, msg.id. Okay, declare a property id. Where do I have to declare it? Okay, I tried to declare the property. Okay, this is the one that also we need to declare, because this is the thing that we are trying to store in the DB. Okay, one error is gone. On to the next one. Where is the error? Where is the error? In the send message, I guess. Okay, in the send message function, what is the error? Const new message equal to user dot id. Okay, the role is the user. Okay, let's fix using Copilot. Okay, let's wait for a minute or two until Copilot fixes this. To fix this, we should add a guard condition to check if the user exists before sending a message. Okay, let's see, where are we right now? Okay, what's the error? Alert is not defined. Alert should be from the Windows, right? Why is it telling alert is not defined? Alert. This is the function that I'm calling. Okay. So yeah, the issue was with something that the alert that I had been putting, it was somewhere very different, at a very different place. So I think that is solved right now. Let's try. Continue with Google. Let's talk Aditya. Okay, choosing another time. Continue. I think we will be good to go right now. Loading. Okay, welcome Aditya Trivedi. Let's check on the dashboard. Yeah, there is one user as well. Okay, so I'll ask him, not him, I'll ask the assistant, summarize today's AI news. So it will basically give me a summary. Okay, let's see if we have it in our database. Okay, we still don't have it. Okay, what might be the issue? Can you tell me guys what might be the issue? I'll just turn this to get real time on and refresh the data. Okay, and I'll give, let's say I'm giving the pricing. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, no worries, we'll work on it. So the thing that we saw here, where did it go? Like when we try to sign out, it is on the leftmost side. We'll just try to center it on the centermost, not the centermost, we'll try to center it. Okay, we'll first write this as 3XL, and then also in the text center we'll add flex, JSTC, ITC and MT5. Okay, and we'll remove the button. I don't think the button is needed. Okay, we will just remove the button, and from the page I don't think this is also needed right now. So if you see, yeah, we get it over here. Okay, let's try it again. Continue to Google. Let's log Aditya. Okay, it's not able to save the data into the DB. So we have to just enable the RLS over here so that the data gets saved into the database. So this is how the data got saved here. So what I'll do, if I just go and sign out, if I try to sign it again, we will get the history of the data that we had used with AI earlier. See, the grok pricing data we had used. Okay, so there's one thing that I want, that whenever I'm giving the user data, I want this icon to be given here as well. So what I'll do is I'll just do a minor change. Okay, I'll just go to this and close everything that we have here. Okay, this is also not needed. So what we are going to do here is that we will obviously first add padding bottom as 16. Okay, and what we'll do is we will just comment this. If the message role is triple equal to AI, okay, what is this? What's the error? Okay, I have commented the entire division. Okay, the entire division is not needed. This much part is to be commented. So if the message dot role is triple equal to AI, okay, if the message dot role is triple equal to AI, then we have a, what I'll do is I'll have a diff, okay, with a class name of flex and gap as 2. Okay, I'll just add this and pass it at the last, gap as 2. Then I'll add the bot icon that I want along with the class name of w as 10, height as 10, text gray 400. Okay, after that I'll also have another diff which will consist of the marked down data, React markdown, this one, message.content, and I'll have p3 rounded lg max width full bg gray 800, text gray 200, and ms 2. Okay, if the role is for AI, this is what we're going to do, or else we'll have another div which will be also closed and the class name as flex gap 2, and inside that another div p3. I'll do one thing, I'll just copy this. Okay, p3 rounded lg blah 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 span with a class name as break words, and inside that we'll have the content. Okay, and after that we'll add the user button here. Okay, and also the border that we are giving it over here, and bg gray of 800. I'll just remove this. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I think it's looking pretty good. I'll just refresh it to see. Okay, and I'll just give another URL. Let's say I give the URL for where did I go? Pricing, or I'll just go to grok, or else I'll just give, is there any other URL that I want to give? Okay, I have the models URL, models, or let's say the rate limits. Copy, paste, send, and let the AI do its work. Okay, refresh. Okay, so this is how we actually created an AI application. Okay, so this is how we created an AI assistant which will not only help you to summarize the articles but also help you to summarize any article from any given URL. And I think this is one of the most important projects that you should create right now, because at this point of time, knowing about AI agents and creating your own AI agent as a developer will help you increase your productivity along with making things accessible than they were earlier. And also, they will help you understand how to interact with LLMs in a certain way. Because in this project, as we saw, we are able to obviously get the summary of today's articles and based on a custom prompt that user gives. But also, along with that, we are able to obviously scrape a particular URL which consists of any kind of an article. Okay, so I think this is one of the crazy projects that I have also made and I have also thought of making with you guys. And I think this project will help a lot of you guys to understand what LLMs, how LLMs work, and how you can use interfaces like Grok. And sometimes, if you want to use, you can go for Hugging Face as well. And also, how you can integrate open source databases like Supabase and along with Clerk authentication system to make your project flow much seamless than it was earlier. So yeah, this was it for the video. I hope you like the project and do let me know in the comment section about your views on this particular project. So if you like the video, make sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.